Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Science Thursday, I'm gonna share with you my first DIY project that I made for my workshop. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with this. This is basically an extension. Simple device, does work. Now, problem with this is generally, this is a cheap one and I did a stupidity of using this puppy with this beast. Now you might be like, okay, that's incredibly stupid. I hear you. I was very impatient, so I used this. Now this does not draw too much power. This is only a 600 watts, so ampere wise it's only 3 amp load. Again, this is 220 volts, so 3 amp, not too much, and this puppy could handle it. Problem was the plug is very sloppy, so to say, and because of sloppy plug, consequence happened on this plug. While the load is not high, but whenever you start the motor, there is a very giant spike, and those spikes damage this plug. Now these are solid slugs, but somehow arc damage is significant enough that there is now permanent ding in this puppy, and like serious enough. So I'm like, this cannot go on, so I have to make my own. Now fundamentally you can buy extensions that are designed for, let's say, 10 ampere, and I needed range of around 10 meters. Now those are ludicrously expensive. I'm like, no, I cannot. Fundamentally, like I will spend same amount of money as this, like around 2000 rupees. So fundamentally that was a no-go, so I decided to make my own, and I did manage to make my own, and it was a surprisingly good result. Now be mindful, what I'm gonna show you is very ugly. There is a very specific reason for that. I have seen way too many people make amazing, like mind-bogglingly awesome extension, like high power extension, 100-foot extension, amazing things, but most of them generally require multiple layers of tool, not just one tool, multiple layers of it. Like you will have to have wood saw, you have to have bearings, you have to have large metal rod. Now my challenge was specifically design this something that if I show you, I can be damn sure 99% of you should be able to build it, because the only tool you require, now again, if you have better tools, it will just make it easier, but only necessary tool you require is this puppy. Now this only costs 50 rupees, like $1 maybe in your country, so fundamentally not something super fancy. Just this, hacksaw, you're more than good enough. Now material of choice for DIY budget kind of thing, PVC. So this is my beast. Ta-da! Now this is designed in this way because this allows me to spool this puppy up, so I can do this. Now, like, this does not sound very smooth. Again, I don't have bearings, or you wanted to use bearings, and the way I designed it, so if you need to like store it, you can store it in this way. Now be mindful, because of video reasons I have not glued it yet. Basically this is not permanent. Everything in it is permanent, it's just I have to do one more step, and to show you in the video I did not do that. So let's open this up, because this is fundamentally very simple, and the main trick happens here. And how big you want to make it, that's up to you. You can make, this is a 10-meter unit, you can make a 20-meter one or 30-meter one, that's up to you. You can make however big you want. Now I don't think I have to show you something like this, like cut this much, like depending on you. That's the whole point. It's very simple, you don't need any plans, you just look at it. I'm gonna provide a high resolution imagery down below, where you can be like, make this. Only fancy thing I made is just I took this is the smallest PVC pipe available in my area, so this is like a 1/2 inch blue line. Now you can get an orange line if you want a bit more sturdiness, because orange line or red line, they are made for hot water, so the wall thickness is much higher. So if you want like more oomph out of this, you can use that. But again, this puppy barely weighs 2 kilogram. This small unit can handle 2 kilogram easily, comfortably, for long enough time where I don't have to worry about it. Again, if it breaks, I'm gonna update you guys on that, but you can use this. Or if you're like, dude, I have bigger pipes, you can go bonkers on that puppy if you're really working with like some thick puppy. Now another aspect is cable. Everything else is relatively cheap, but except the cable. Now this cable, if you look in your air condition, specifically in India or most of the places, you're gonna find they have square millimeter rating of the copper inside. So generally your air condition that is like 1 ton or 1.5 ton will have 1.5 mm copper in that, or 1.8 mm. This puppy is 2.5. Now I'm like, whoa, this is some serious puppy. Yes, this cable is designed to handle upwards of 20 ampere. Now in 220 volt country, that translates to around 4 kilowatts of power. So my puny angle grinder that barely consumes 600 watt, or let's say 700, is like, bro, I don't even give a damn about this. So this is a chunky boy. Now how the heck I find this chunky boy? I did not found a cable. So what did I was looking for is basically something that has a one insulation and has 3 cable inside it. Thankfully, submergible water pumps exist, and most of the time they are basically 3-phase systems. So this puppy has 3 core wire. So only consequence of that is the color coding is different. So it has basically red, yellow, blue rather than red, black and green. So I have to use basically electrical tape to color code it, but nothing more than that. So this cable gives me more than enough juice to drive whatever I want to plug it. Basically I only have 2 plugs here. Reason, I only have 2 powerful equipment at this point in time: angle grinder and drill, maybe vacuum cleaner, but again all 3 won't be running at the same time. So this is more than good enough, and depending on your requirement you can spec this however you want it. This is like a fixed electrical box. Any country has like its equivalent. You can just make it the way you want it. So now let's try to unwind the cable. Now when I was buying this puppy, I thought like 10 meter, that's a big puppy, because I'm used to this barely has like 3.5 meter. So 10 meter was like, whoa, bonkers. Once I built this, I'm like, I could have gone a bit bigger, 15 meter or something like that. As you can see, it is spins up. Now you might be like, okay, this is why did not I make a guard or like a ring kind of structure? Again, I have a 3D printer. I wanted to make that. It's just like, yeah, you can make this DIY project if you have a 3D printer. I really did not want that. And this gets the job done. It's like bare minimum, but gets the job done. And this is just, you're not supposed to do this every day. Again, if you want to do this every day, then I would say, spend a bit of money on wood and just give it a ear, basically a lip where the cable can ride. If you don't need that, it's more than good enough. I only need to like, unwind it or wind it once a day. That's also best case scenario. So I'm happy with this, and it does work. So what more could I ask? So this is the whole plan. That's the whole channel. And again, if you have more cable, I would urge you to increase the basically height of this puppy, so you can have another pipe and you can get a bigger lip here if you need more windings. So this is also not glued in. You can use basically Febiquick, or you can use cement that is specifically made for PVC pipe for permanent installation. Again, I wanted to do this video, so this is not permanent. So you can open this puppy. That's all you have to do on this box. Basically have one C-clamp here, one C-clamp here. The reason why they are offset is because if you pick close at I can open this also. Okay, seriously, nothing fancy, super simple. Only difference is like I used a 1 step up of this PVC pipe. This is like a 1/2 inch, this is 3/4 inch PVC pipe, and they have a friction fit behind them. Like if you buy them from different brand, you will get friction fit. If you buy from same one, you may get smooth fitting, and you can use that same also, but again you may have to use glue. Here it's more than good enough. Like I have to use hammer to hammer it in, and this way this whole plane is absolutely level, so it won't go dig when I am like laying down on a flat system. So that's how I made the bearing also. Now this is the main money maker. How the heck I can have the bearing? All you have to use is basically a T-joint, something like this, a T-joint, nothing fancy, just a T-joint, and all you have to do is cut out this section. Now you can use a drill if you want to use that, or you can use basically hole saw. And hole saw generally have like almost all hole saws, especially cheap Chinese one, are made in one kind of set. They will have different branding, different packaging, so don't focus on this one. Like you can use generally 19mm one to drill through directly. Basically put this in a vise or like whatever you have and just drill through directly. You can do that. And if you don't want to do that, you can still cut diagonally. You can cut diagonally with hacksaw. It will barely take 2 minutes. You can cut it, but you have to do a lot of sanding, so a bit of elbow grease is needed, but you can do that, and drill will just make it a bit easier. So this is how I done that. So basically there is a pipe, there is a T-joint that goes here, because this T-joint has this like almost full inch of pipe riding surface, so it does not have wobble. Like you can see, wobble wise is surprisingly less. Now to get that kind of low wobble in a bearing, you have to put some serious engineering into that, and I get 2 T-joints here. Earlier I was using basically L joint like this. Problem was because cable used to slip from this side. It's like cable was not riding that, so I have to use T-joint. So this is how many T-joints you have to use: 1 2 3 4 5 T-joints. That's all you have to buy. And L, buy extra L, because again you may drill through one, you may be like, it's not working the way I want to. You can buy another one. You can use oil also to like lubricate it a little bit. And if this is the only place where you may find like strength is not high enough, you may go for like red tubing here, so you get like more oomph, or you can just put a metal rod through here if you just want to do that. But again, this is more than strong enough. Like, you have to put some effort in order to break it. It will not just break magically. So you can do this. And to drill to do this offset, again, lay it down, have the pipe clamps there, and that's it. Nothing fancy, super simple. The reason why it's offset, obviously, because if you do like this, the width between these two things are very high, and I did not want to do custom part, do too much modification on the T-joint. So I'm just like, okay, let's tilt it, but do make sure the cross goes through the central axis, otherwise it will like wobble a much. So I did that. So this is it. That's all I have to do. Now this whole C section, these two section helps me to wind the cable. Without it, I did try to wind the cable without it. It was like it was to sleep on both sides. So that's why I'm like not going forward with that. So this was my basically first high power 20 amp 10 meter. These two plug, each plug is rated for 8 amperes, so more than enough for what I want to do with it. It's basically overbuilt, just so I don't have to do any more building with this. And once I'm done with this video, I'm gonna glue it down, so at that point it will become permanent. So at that point, sloppiness in this design will disappear. So I just wanted to show you this. It's so simple that you don't actually need plan, and if you need high resolution images, I'm gonna provide them down below where you can see it. So if you're like, hey, I need to reference it a bit more, you can do that. I've seen so many amazing designs as well, like, but the moment I see their tool requirement, I was like, yeah, how the hell anybody is supposed to build that? It's like, and if you have those many tools, it's like, do you seriously need to make it? Like, you have enough money to have those fancy tools. You can just, now you might be like, okay, this is not smooth enough. Again, it is smooth enough if you oil this point. I have not oiled it yet, so it's not very smooth. And I'm gonna after this video segment is done, I'm gonna upload a video showing a demo of it, like how I want to use this in my life. And another aspect is just you have to have a notch where you can basically rest the whole cable. So I made basically a segment. I cut it out with this. No fancy tool needed, just this. Notch it out and use Febiquick or super glue or whatever you have, or even hot glue if you want to do that, just so cable does not unwind on its own once you have fully wrapped it. Now cable, that's up to you, but like I have bought like the most bonkers I can do this, and one of my friend have something similar. He also uses angle grinder a lot. He also has a circuit breaker in that, so in case let's say motor stalls, because universal motor, before they stall, they will consume way too much ampere. So if you want to make sure that does not have any serious issue in you, you can utilize a MCB here also in this box, or wherever you are connecting this to. So these cables are generally, when they are used for low level stuff, they are directly used with MCB. So you can understand this. That's why I've built it overbuilt, and size wise I get the perfect form factor. It's no longer like flapping around, and it does unwind on its own. I don't have to unwind it. So if I'm pulling it, like basically I plug it somewhere, it automatically unwinds it. I'm really gonna oil this puppy up in the video, so you guys get a much better experience than I'm getting right now. But this was my first DIY project, and I'm pretty happy with it, given the fact that most people can easily make this in like one weekend, not even weekend, I'm saying weekend, basically 2-3 hours of elbow grease, and you will be done with this. Super simple, useful, especially if you need something like 10 ampere, 20 ampere. Good luck trying to buy those. Those get ludicrously expensive. So you can just buy this, what it is, submergible water pump cable. They are generally 3-core, and they are flat ribbon, so they do not tangle automatically. That's also a good thing. So even if you unwinded them and left them somewhere, they will not magically get tangled. And yes, it's a magic trick that why the cable tangles. Somebody had done polyphasic mathematics on that to figure out why the heck cable tangles, and there is an actual reason why it tangles. So you want to use flat ribbon cable, which are generally used for submergible water pumps. And done. So I'm gonna just lay it on here and tighten it up. Done. Again, I do have to glue this puppy down. I cannot have it like luch-puch all the time. So this was my presentation on my first DIY high power extension. I hope you liked it, and after this segment I will show you the video of me utilizing this. Hopefully you liked it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I try to reply to all of them, and watch the video now. this is the demo of my extension. So this is basically directly connected, capable of delivering 16 amps. So I'm gonna unwind it, pull the plug out, connect it here. Done. I can turn it on or off, that's up to me. Now I can just plonk the handle and I don't have to do anything. It will automatically pull it out. And I can lay it down like this, and now I can connect my this. Okay. And ta-da, I got whole system. Oh, that's the whole point. So this was the demo of my DIY system. As you can see, surprisingly useful, surprisingly effective, and cheap also. So thank you for watching this video.